Hey, hello everyone. So welcome again. Good to be here. Good to have you all here right now, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this very particular episode. And so this episode is actually a response to a question somebody asked me in one of my old videos, and I feel that just answering the person is not enough, but I think I should do it as a video. And basically, the question the person was asking me is, so what are the step-by-step way I can monetize my land? And I feel that, okay, I gave the person some answers, and I just know that this cannot just be an answer to just one person. I strongly believe that a lot of people too need to hear this. Okay, so my name still remains Okpe Oluwa Oni, and I will appreciate it a lot if you like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let the message go as far as it can. Okay, so tonight or today we'll be talking about the step-by-step way of monetizing your land. And I'm going to not just go about the step by step way, I'm just going to use some of the examples of some of the things we have done over the last couple of years, and we've been able to help others to monetize their land. And I believe that that will help you a great deal. So let's move to today's teaching. So, land is the foundation when it comes to real estate. Okay. And for at every stage you are acquiring land, you do three things. Number one, if in fact, especially when you are buying in large quantity or an expanse, while you are still paying, I often don't encourage people to complete payment at once. You can, even if you have the way and means to pay up immediately, spread it over a period of time and do these three things while you are still, of course, these three things is not something that you'll be able to finish on at the go, right? The three things are possession, occupation, then documentation. So what's possession? Let your presence be seen on the land. You can do fencing, you can do depending on the actual plan of purchasing the land. Okay. Documentation is even from the point of acquiring it. Land, basically what we get when we are buying land is bundle of rights. So let all those bundle of rights start coming in on a gradual basis. So that's very, very important. Then number four is occupation. It's possible for you to have done these first two things, and if you do not occupy, it's always going to be very, very difficult for you in the long run. So these three things are very, 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 very important. Possession, occupation, very, very important. Okay. Um, the next line of action after taking these three steps or taking these steps is you need to understand the stages land go through, because the stages land go through will determine how you will make money from that particular land. Okay. So for instance, now if your land is still um, at farming state, for instance, it's difficult for it. I mean, you have to wait for that land to metamorphose into a state whereby it's a construction site and all of those things. So it depends on the state that your particular land is. That will determine what you do with it. So what are the basic stage? I often share that number one is that there's a stage whereby land does not even have ownership. There's a stage whereby, so that means just like empty forest, right? So no ownership on paper, no ownership by dwelling and all of that. Then there's a stage it moves to ownership by dwelling and farming. Okay, some people are hunting on the land, some people are farming on the land. Okay, so it moves up. Some people are doing traditional worship on the land. So these are ways people dwell on this land. Then later on from there, it moves to people want to do land banking. Some people buy part of this land from them. They want to do land banking, they want to do agric, they want to do factory, they want to do a lot of things. So people start buying this land. So it moves most likely from secondary market, which is primary market to now secondary market. Okay. Some of them are buying as land banking. So most people that are buying as land banking too want to now want this land to be occupied till they move from land banking to other things, right? So maybe one of the other videos I will still do after this is that what do you do while you are banking land. What do you do with your land while you are banking land? So it's one of the videos I'll probably do. What do you do with your land while you are banking land? Okay. So um so that will be the spin-off of this video. So it moves from land banking, then people start a lot of people bank over time, and while you are still doing land banking, some people say, see, I want to come and live there. So it moves to a site. Some people start construction gradually. So it moves to a developing site. Okay, so from land banking to a developing site to agric, it will still be roaming around that agric stuff and all of that thing. Then while you are still doing land banking, it moves to developing site, and at some point in time, it now moved to a semi-developed site. So at the state of it being semi-developed, a lot of things have changed, but the infrastructure within that axis is not fully developed. Maybe government presence is not fully there. You know, the normal thing is actually government is supposed to come in, then developers will now move in. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria, it's usually the other way around. We move into a project, then government will now come in. So probably the infrastructures are not really there because the people are still moving in trickles. So it's at a semi-developed area. Then later on, it will now go to a developed area. So there is always the longest waiting period is usually moving from developing to semi-developed to a developed area. Then after it moves from metamorphosed from developed, semi-developed to a developed area, they now moved into the state of urban regeneration. So I've shared in some of my previous videos that you can, when is from developing, you can still buy cheap at that stage, but by the time it's semi-developed and developed, most likely there's something called the picking of land. Okay, so for places like Ekpe, the land has not peaked, so there's still massive ROI, so you can do massive land banking. But places like Ikoyi, Bagada, VI, yes, the price will increase, but it will not be at the same return on investment in for places like for Ekpe, for instance. Ekpe land can still do 1,000%, right? You can buy land in Ekpe for ₦1 million, you can still get the land for ₦1 million per plot, and or maybe ₦5 billion per plot, and that same land can be selling for 20, 30 million, 40 million in the future, right? Because there's still room. But you cannot buy, I mean, maybe in Bagada, for instance, you're getting the land for ₦60 million. In the next 10 years, the price of the land, maybe inflation, not real value. If it might be as a result of inflation, the land can still go up, right? But not a real appreciation because most of the infrastructure in Bagada has already gotten to the peak period. Maybe government urbanization, further urbanization, new transport system, and all of those things can affect it, but not at the pace where it will appreciate. Like, yes, it can grow maybe 10%, 20%, 50%, but not like 200%, 500%, 1,000% in places like Ekpe. So Ekpe can 10x, Ekpe can 20x, but it will be very difficult for places like Ikoyi, VI to even do a 2x or a 3x. It's always going to be very, because they've reached their peak period. Okay, so they've reached their ceiling. There's a cap already. There's a cap. Okay, but to keep growing, there's no land that stays the same. Whether you are buying it, I mean, I often share this that whatever stage you are buying land, there you don't lose because at every point in time, in as much you are buying the same area, the same factors that will make it grow will make everybody to balance up and level up at a point in time. So now, after you understand this, so each stage, okay, that I mean whatever stage you now determine what whatever you are going to be using the land for, okay, will determine how you can make money from the land rather. So, and also two things: the stage you are buying will determine what you are going to be using, will determine what you can do on the land, and the reason why you are buying. So if purely you don't really have any major agenda for buying a piece of property, for instance, now. So it's different from somebody that has an agenda, is looking for a place to live, is looking for, that agenda is totally different. Okay, so you need to have that at the back of your mind. So, and cash flow is also very, very key. So, in as much as you are doing land banking or you are keeping your land, cash flow is also very, very, very key. So, there are basic few things that you need to factor. Number one, you need to understand that cash flow is king. Number two is that what is the current stage of the environment? So, that's what I've explained. So, what are the stages? Is it a land banking? Is it a semi-developed? Is it at a developing stage? You need to understand that. Then, what are the future stage, that what's the next stage that this place is going to be? You need to have that understanding. Okay, so that's very, very important. Then what is the government plan for that area? So what is the government plan for that area? You need to, is there a major government infrastructure that is coming, road, rail? Look at the Moniya in Ibadan now. Everybody is moving to Moniya. Even people in Lagos, people in abroad are moving to Moniya. People that have never been to Ibadan in their life before are moving to Moniya because of what? A 2 hours drive, from a 2 hours train from Agege, from Yaba, from Obolaji Johnson train station. You get to Moniya in Ibadan. Imagine that kind of a thing. Okay, so that, and it's, you know that there's no traffic. I mean, all things being equal, you get there and they'll get there on time. Okay, that's the same traffic that you probably will face if you are staying in Agbado, Kiayo, or somewhere, and you are going to VR. It's most likely the same traffic you face. Okay, so a lot of people are even living in, have their houses in Moniya and Ibadan now, and they are working in Lagos, and they go on the weekend and all of that. So government plan is very, very important because it can help you to monetize your land in a great way. Okay, so then other things are major industries that are coming towards that area. Then lastly is going to be um what is the closeness of that place to city center. So this will help you a great deal too. Okay, so the next video I'm going to now be doing, just like I mentioned earlier, is going to be what do you do when you are waiting in land banking. So that will explain further how to monetize your land. So I'm going to be doing more details work. So this is more or less like an introduction. So the part two will be what you do while you are waiting. Okay, so my name still remains Okpe Oluwa. You don't want our video to be too long, that's why I have to cut it into two parts. Okay, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So go and play big so that you can win big. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't win big. Bye for now.